There's something that nobody's talking about regarding the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case. In 2012, he crossed the border in Texas and immediately went to Maryland to live with his brother, who happens to be a U.S. citizen. In 2016, he met his wife, who also is a U.S. citizen. Why didn't he ever apply for citizenship or a green card? I've known many immigrants who apply for green card or citizenship if they have a close relative, such as a spouse who is a U.S. citizen. Why did he remain as an undocumented migrant for 13 years? And as far as we know, he never applied for green card or citizenship. Why?
We're joined by his wife, Jennifer, by his mother, Cecilia.
Yes, President Trump posted this few hours ago. This is the hand of the man that the Democrat feel should be brought back to the United States because he is such a fine and innocent person. They said he is not a member of MS-13, even though he got MS-13 tattoo onto his knuckles, and two highly respected court found that he was a member of MS-13, beat up his wife, etc. I was elected to take back people out of the United States. Among other things, I must be allowed to do my job. Make America great again. That is what Trump posted. I saw a video this man's wife posted on TikTok. He had to blur out the picture of him, like people should not see the tattoo. If you go back into...
We're joined by his wife, Jennifer, by his mother, Cecilia, by his brother, Cesar, and thank all of the rest of you who are joining us in solidarity with the Constitution about what I would call Margarita Gate. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but President Bukele, after I met with Kilmar, did this tweet showing us at a table with these two glasses. So here's what happened. When I first sat down with Kilmar, we just had glasses of water on the table. I think maybe some coffee. And as we were talking, one of the government people came over and deposited two other glasses on the table with ice, and I don't know if it was salt or sugar around the top, but they look like margaritas. And if you look at the one they put in front of Kilmar, it actually had a little less liquid than the one in front of me, to try to make it look, I assume, like he drank out of it. Let me just be very clear. Neither of us touched the drinks that were in front of us. And if you want to play a little Sherlock Holmes, I'll tell you how you can know that. So if you look at the video or the picture I sent out from the beginning of our meeting, you'll see there are no glasses on the table. So you'll see in later videos they are on the table. But they made a little mistake. First, some people are very careful, right? If you sip out of one of those glasses, some of whatever it was, salt or sugar, would disappear. You would see a gap. There's no gap. Nobody drank any margaritas or sugar water or whatever it is. But this is a lesson into the lengths that President Bukele will do to deceive people about what's going on. And it's also shows the lengths that the Trump administration and the president will go to, because when he was asked about a reporter about this, he just went along for the ride.
Did you have a sense of his health, his well-being? Did you get any indication that he'd been abused?
I did not get that sense. Look, you never know, but I asked him if he was okay. He said yes. He said he has I think a blood pressure condition. He has seen a doctor. So, on a very cursory examination, he appeared okay. Now, I will say, just to be clear, there was some negotiation about the terms of this meeting, and we were kind of surrounded by video cameras. So I do want to say that was the setting he was in. I should also just say, I'd mentioned the fake Margarita scandal. They actually wanted to have the meeting by the side of the pool, right, in the hotel. Just, right. I mean, this is a guy who's been in CCOT. This is a guy who's been detained. They want to create this appearance that life was just lovely for Kilmar, which, of course, is a big fat lie.
Suddenly, Democrats have suddenly forgotten that this is a great sign of something. They are ignoring anything linking to tattoos at this time. Just imagine this situation was reversed. You will see how they will react to this because they want to pass their political decisions using this. They will continue to insist. There is something these people forget. Entering the United States illegally is a crime, right? But it seems a normal thing now to Democrat when it concerns this guy because he entered the United States illegally. And I raised a question. There is a video this man put out like he was married to someone that is a United States citizen. It's easy to apply for citizenship. For this number of years, this guy has been in the United States. Why has he not done that? Yeah, that is a question that puzzled through a lot of people's mind. If therefore he was guilty of something, reason he could not apply for citizenship.
Needed to clear it up, right? What's your view of how what he did just now?
He could have cleared it up much more concisely. Didn't have to spend as much time talking about margaritas as he did.
But he was tired. I will say
fair,
that.
Right? But
kind of rambly.
Look, I think everyone in the White House are giving each other high fives, and everyone who supports the guy in El Salvador are giving each other high fives, right? Both sides have kind of gone to their corners and are saying, this is the fight we want to have. Whereas I don't necessarily know it's the conversation that would actually resonate with the rest of the country. Again, I go back to what we were talking about earlier. It's less about him as it is about all of us. And if he were to have focused on that, he did it a little bit.
Yeah.
He did a little bit there, about a third of the way through, right? Where he said, taking away his constitutional rights takes away all of our constitutional rights. That is the place to take this. We don't know all of the details about this guy. So let's not make him a martyr. Let's make this about the fact that Donald Trump and his administration are chipping away at our rights on a daily basis.
Criticism you've gotten. Matt Bennett from the Clinton-Gore era. This is insane behavior. John Anzalone, pollster most recently for President Biden.
Yeah.
$20 million should be spent on swing state legislative races, meaning state legislative races, and down ballot, not on this. Steve Shale, a Florida Democratic strategist, saying the DNC's vice chair should be focused on this kind of engagement, meaning engaging in places in battleground states where Democrats have lost ground, not over which Dem in a plus 20 seat should be primaried and knocked out.
You know, look at the last results of the previous election. Those are the purported experts that brought us here. Just to say, it's not personal, right? I don't take those attacks personally in this regard. This is a strategic disagreement. And I want to be clear. All this money that we're raising is not only being spent on primaries by any means. That is the story that a lot of journalists and media run with. We are working
What are you
in
also
safer
going to spend
seats.
it on?
We're also going to be spending it on frontline seats where great young people are running, right, if they are the Democratic nominee, to make sure we're bringing in fresh faces to Congress. Right now, we talk about diversity all the time in Congress. One of the things we don't talk about as much in regard to that is age.
Yes, like I said on one of my videos, if Democrat can take up this energy and put into fighting for American citizens, it will be a good thing. When you look at the energy until senators are traveling to another country to fight for this guy, it is something I don't understand. They came out with bogus stories like, oh, they've tortured this guy, they've done this to this guy. They went there, he came out, and they realized nothing happened to him. He's a citizen into that country, married to an American citizen. Why is it that he could not apply for American citizenship? Staying in the US for this number of years, about 13 years, is something that I can't still comprehend. Look at Democrat ratings, all-time low as a result of all these crazy things they are doing. The American people are waking up, they're seeing exactly what is happening. Their main agenda was to fight Trump. Oh, we don't want to do this. You don't want him to do this. Trump made it clear, I was elected to remove people like this in the United States. Look at Trump's ratings when it concerns these issues. You realize majority of Americans believe and like what he is doing when it concerns immigration. They even believe that they should deport all these people. So what he is doing, he knows that that is where the people actually.
We start talking about this man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. It seems like every week, but, people, what I find the most disturbing about this, and we can talk about him in a minute, but, Trump is talking about putting not just people like him who was illegal, and, I think it's okay to deport people, but it's different than disappearing them, right?
Yes. But, our Constitution is quite clear that if you are a resident of this country, you deserve due process. And what the other thing...
Even if you're here illegally.
You deserve to have a hearing. You can't just be shipped off.
When I look through social media to see how people are responding to this, everyone is furious. They realize the guy is fresh, he's cool, Nothing has happened to him. So what exactly are these people actually talking about? This is country. They should allow him. Like I said, I'm waiting to see the end result of what is going on.
So the plan, as I understand it, and I'm sure we'll get more details, is if you're an undocumented immigrant, Trump wants you to go home, but if you're good at home, he will get you back into the country. They will fly you out of the country. And Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been living in Maryland for 14 years. He's got a wife. He was abducted by ICE and mistakenly deported to El Salvador. They refuse to bring him back. They won't even let him come back.
I think we're all following the news of the day. We are seeing right before our...
Following the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, undocumented migrant from El Salvador, married an American woman, has a kid, living the American dream. Until the Trump administration sent him to an El Salvadorian mega prison by, and I'm quoting,
that mode, which is going to render them possibly an irrelevant party if they don't change. Yes, I'm a free speech guy.
Randy Fine.
Everybody, he had...
Oh, I know I'm going to get